I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but seriously, it really is all about relationships. Hey there, welcome to my epic journey. This is Brandon DeVere. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I do appreciate that. Here we are following the journey from 600 to 0 to 600 plus and everything that kind of falls in between on that, with business, with life, with all kinds of stuff. Weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed the Saturday's interview. Just trying to give you guys a taste of what some of the agents are saying inside the company. So it's not just me out here every day, saying all the great things and the praises and all that, and giving you a chance to really hear from some other people. And I'm going to be sprinkling those in throughout here and there when I get a chance to get some of these interviews where we make it just kind of short, clean, and just kind of to the point to let you know what people are thinking that are here. Over the weekend, again, we talk about like life stuff that's going on. We had it's funny because like when you're doing something you really enjoy to do, like I had so much work to do on Saturday that I really wanted to get to. However, we had a birthday party I had to go to, and I know that the workaholics out there will tell me you want to be successful, you gotta make sure that you have the ability to say no. Well, I said no a bunch of times on Friday, and then went out on Saturday with some friends for one of our friends' birthdays, and I did want to stay in and do some work, but at the same time, that's stuff stuff that it's important to me is to hang out with friends and family and not be working all the time. However, we had our first football game with my son for the season, and great day. We won 36-6, so it was a good time out there. And one of the coolest things is winning and things like that are awesome. But like watching the growth of the kids is so much more exciting to me. Like I have one girl on my team, Malia. She's the youngest out there, and she scored her first touchdown, and everybody was so excited for her. And her growth has been awesome over the last the last year or so. So that's been a lot of fun. That's exciting. So that's on the personal front, and then as well as those of you who know that I went to Dallas a few weeks ago for a friend of mine that isn't doing great. Unfortunately, things are declining a bit, and it really hit me Saturday night. We were out with a bunch of people, and this is probably more personal than you want me to get. But anyways, we were out at a place called Old Red, which is like a country bar on the Strip, and it reminded me of my friend. That would be a place that he'd be at if he were healthy, and they kind of all hit me right then. That his 43-year-old childhood friend that is unfortunately not likely to make it too much longer. So it sucks. That's those are things that we have to deal with as we are growing our businesses as well, right? So it's not just all clean and super easy along the way. There's these things that we don't account for in that aren't necessarily related to business, but that's what this is. That's the journey. It's part of the journey. It may not be part of the actual business, but it's definitely part of the journey and the things that I want to bring forward. Same thing like my son having struggles getting to school, right? Like that's not business related, but it definitely is part of the discussion and part of the journey. So just wanted to share those things with you on the personal front. Today pretty slow on the I just had the one call with some agents out of Houston, and then we just had some team stuff here. So as far as growth, getting to that 600, nobody added today, and I didn't really have many conversations today. But what I do want to talk about is how quickly relationships, when you have the right mindset for them, and when you meet someone, is if you can, like, the first thing you can think of is like how can we collaborate, or how can we, instead of wondering what they can do for you, like wonder how you can help them, and how maybe you can help each other, right? And I think that's what happens a lot. My friend and I, Mark, he's a marketing guy. His name is Mark. He is in the mortgage space a lot, and him and I talk about how agents and lenders and loan officers can't really talk to each other, right? They miss the mark a lot, and a lot of the times I believe it is because typically it's usually coming from a place of like, what can you do for me? And for the longest time, I thought that from the agent side was like, all they want to do is buy me coffee just so they can, and then at the coffee, they say, hey, well, do you have anything, why don't you just give us a shot? They ask to learn about my business, and then we show up, and it's a conversation about how I can give them business. So I came to it from that way. But then I told my buddy Mark last year, I was talking to some loan officers from out of state, and I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to do this, 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 and this. Like, what do you guys think? And they're like, okay. And I'm like asking Mark, I'm like, what's the deal? Why is this so difficult? Like, well, I just want, like, let's work together. And their experience, so my experience is from them always asking me for more deals, or, asking me for if they can help, if I can give them a shot. Like, that's my experience. It's most agents' experience. Their experience of agents is, hey, how much of my marketing can you help pay for? So we're both thinking that the other is asking for something. So it's really refreshing when you run into people that are just, hey, I have that. How can this help you? Like, cool, awesome. We'll run into that. We'll see if we can work together now or some way down the future, sometime down the future. And so there's a agent or loan officer here that I've been very lucky to run into these people lately, and I don't know if it's because that's kind of who I'm attracting now more so, or maybe it's just what I'm allowing to come into the space. Like if you're wanting and demanding, and you're like you are just asking for me, then I'm likely not going to be as receptive. Not that I wouldn't be at all. I'm not going to turn you off and just say, nope, see, you don't get any of my time. But I'm maybe subconsciously I'm putting myself in positions to have these better conversations. For instance, I have an agent here in town, went on LOI, and he introduced me to someone. It's so weird, like just having the conversation of and where it leads. So this was probably about 3 weeks ago. He introduced me to someone here locally as well, a title rep. And so since that introduction from us, which was one meeting with another team, and then this title rep had conversations with, and next thing, actually, what happened next was I saw that I'd never met her before this, so I've known her for less than a month, and I went and was like, hey, or I saw on Eventbrite that she had an event that she was planning. So I asked my agent that was on the LOI. I said, hey, are you going to this event? He said, no, I'm out of town. I was like, all right. So I went. Me and my partner went. And so when we were there, I was like, yeah, we just showed up because I saw that you were putting this thing on, and, I just met you, so I thought it was cool. I'd come check it out. And so went there, hung out, chatted for a little bit. And then she's like, hey, what are we, talking about our event that's coming up. We have an event coming, National Convention Conference coming up April 22nd through 24th, available for Epique agents and Epique LOI agents. And so we are, so we're getting prepped for that. Well, on the 25th, what we plan to do is do an additional class that's an agent attraction class where I can have some people from my downline from around the country also attend and have them, bring some agents here in town to come check that out on the 25th after the conference is over. Well, while we're at this meetup, my partner starts talking, and now we happen to know the same like manager of a title company, and I've met him once before, just very, very quickly. My partner has known him for a while, and she just went over to work with him. So next thing we know, last week we're meeting in a cigar bar, having conversation like, oh yeah, you can rent this place out and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, hey, what do you think? I mean, could we do a class here? And they're like, yeah, perfect, let's do it. So we were all scheduled for that the training of the 25th to happen at that venue. And that venue happened to be a cigar bar. So there is someone that's coming that's like, you know what, I'm still dealing with, they have cancer. They'd prefer not to go into a cigar bar. Even if there's not people smoking, just because the residual, all that stuff. So I was like, all right, let's change it up. So I reached back out to her and I just say, hey, you know what? Sorry, I do want to use that location at some point. That venue is pretty cool. It's very centrally located in Town Square in Las Vegas, if you know where that's at. So we wanted to do that. And then but then I said, we can't, we'll try it for a different time. So instead of saying, okay, yeah, just let me know, she goes, hey, want me to help you find another spot? And that was on Friday that I told her, and she already had an appointment that afternoon. Friday morning, I told her that we wouldn't be able to do it. Friday afternoon, she had an appointment, and we met with somebody else today and found a classroom today. And so from that moment of meeting this person, this title rep, was she was just doing an introduction. Then I recognized her name on a class or on an event. So I was like, oh yeah, well she's putting it on. Let's go support. Let's go see what it's all about. Went to that, and then now we've had like 4 points of contact since she came in and met the team and stuff like that. But the ability, it was never, not one time was, hey, can you get me your next escrow? Send your next escrow over here. All she's been doing this entire time is providing value and like trying to connect us with the right people for the right things. And it's so refreshing because to me, I don't know if anybody else is like this. I mean, there's probably some people on here that it probably doesn't matter. For me, if like when you talk about like the law of reciprocity, like she goes out to set things up for me, I instantly want to figure out a way to I don't want to say even the score, but be like, oh man, she's doing all this stuff. But now I'm trying to rack my brain. What can I do for her outside of an escrow? Is there something like, well, who can I get her in front of? Who can she be? Can she be on a preferred vendor list? Can she, can this title company be on this, that? What is it? How can we all grow together? And those type of things, those organic relationships, I think are the ones that are best built, or built best for longevity, and also, trying to secure relationships that will prosper, like I said, throughout time and throughout the future. So that's pretty much what I want to talk about today. I know, just sharing a little story of just kind of chance encounters that just end up snowballing to, I met her 3 weeks ago, and then now she's all of a sudden looking for rooms for me, and we find a spot. She introduced us to another lender, which is great. I mean, I love to meet and see what different people are doing. And it's just having that openness to have that conversation, because if we didn't go to that event that they were putting on, like what's the next step? Like where would we have run into each other again? Would it have been another 6 months? Just, it just collapses time when you end up, making these connections, and then just furthering them by just a level of support, which doesn't have to be a $5,000 check to cover half my marketing, right? It can be this. It can be as little as, hey, if I get you in front of this person, will you talk to him? And that's kind of what it's been. So I would encourage everyone out there, when you're out there making these relationships, have general interest, and also provide them with something. If you can, it doesn't even need to be of massive value, of even like monetary value. It can be something like this, where I was looking for a space to host this event, and here now we have it, and because she went and found it, right? So, yep. As you're going forward, make sure that these relationships that you're creating are meaningful and not just one-sided. Think first and foremost, how can I provide a benefit or value to this person that I'm about to engage in? Even if you don't plan on asking for something, or if you do plan on asking for something and you don't know what it is yet, like, still always provide that value. So, all right, I will see you guys on the next one. Hopefully a little bit more pep in my step. A little foggy today, but yes, I will be back and see you on the next one. Have a great one.